Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ghost. We have finally gotten to our first race day, and he's getting dressed, and he's getting dressed in his room, which is a little different. He hasn't really been in there since the incident with Dad, but he's got his new uniform on, and he's got his new shoes on, and he is ready for race day. My mother had gotten me a fresh haircut the night before, just for this day, and I hit the bathroom to brush it and see if maybe a few waves were popping out, or at least to make sure it wasn't one of her jacked up cuts. Thankfully, she got it close to perfect, almost no patches. While primping it in the mirror, I heard Aunt Sophie come in. She was hollering about how we were late because they had to make a sign to hold up while I was running. Castle, my mom called from the living room. They here, let's go. I came out of the bathroom and my mother almost hit the floor. She put her hand over her mouth, which I only ever saw her do when somebody on one of those movies said something corny about not wanting to live without the other person in the kiss. Look at you, Ma said, hugging my neck, her eyes instantly wet. You look like a champion. You look like a superhero, King said. I'm going to call you Running Man. Yeah, like the dance, Aunt Sophie said. What dance? I replied, totally confused. Doesn't matter, my mother cut in. Now back to business. She grabbed her purse. We got to go. We went dashing down the block towards the bus stop, only to see the bus pulling out just before we got there. No, Ma shouted, turning toward me. I could tell she wanted to cuss, but she didn't. She just bit her lip, then looked at me and said, I'm so sorry, baby. But it was okay. I had walked it so many times, and I knew that it was only like a 15-minute trek. With all the stops the bus was going to have to make along the way, we could probably get there quicker if we walked anyway. So I told them to follow me, as I took the short way for once. Imagine it, my mother in yellow pants with flowers all over them, not scrubs, and lipstick and red cheek stuff on her face, and my aunt with jeans and sneakers, with a bright pink t-shirt and a baseball cap, and my cousin King dressed in shorts and a tank top, and the same shoes as my beat-up ones, holding a big neon sign. Imagine the three of them following behind me, Castle Cranshaw, dressed in an electric blue track uniform, the Defender. We walked past the fish market, the wig shop, and everything sports before I realized that I had to make one quick stop. Mr. Charles's store. Luckily, it sits right in the middle of everything. At least it seems like it does. Like I can always get to it no matter where I am in the city. I think maybe that was Mr. Charles's plan. He's smart like that. And I can see it even if his family don't. He's the smartest person in the store within the whole city, and maybe even in the whole world. That's what I think. When I got there, I told Ma and Aunt Sophie and King to just give me a second. I need to get something, I explained. I pushed the door open, and there Mr. Charles was, standing behind the counter as usual, staring at his television. Castle! How are you, my friend? Mr. Charles said, holding his hand out. What's with the get-up? This is my track uniform, the Defenders, I explained, pointing to the gold word printed across my chest. The who? Mr. Charles leaned in so he could hear me. The Defenders, I said louder. The track team I told you about. Today's my first race, and I just wanted you to see me. There was no way I could hide the excitement in my voice. Ah, Mr. Charles flashed a huge smile. He grabbed a bag of sunflower seeds off the wall. Then take these for good luck. Pretend they're power pills, he said, which I thought was funny for me. They kind of were, at least in my head. Thanks, Mr. Charles. I'll tell you how it goes, I said, reaching for his hand. Yes, yes, please do, son, he practically shouted, squeezing my hand. Now get out of here. You can't be great if you're late. After 4 or 5 minutes, my mother, my aunt, my cousin, and me came up on the park. I was used to seeing it sprinkled with only a few parents, mainly Lou's mom and a few others, and us, the runners on the track. But on race day, there were people everywhere. From the street, you could hear the buzz of the crowd and the sound of the whistles, and you could see snack vendors and all the different colored jerseys as coaches had their teams stretching and warming up. Once we got closer, I found my squad, that electric blue, standing out. Ghost, a voice came from behind me. It was Sonny. Sonny, what's up, man? We dapped. This is my mom and my aunt and my cousin King. Sonny shook everyone's hand. Then he told me to come get stretched and warmed up. My family lined up against the fence with who I guessed were the parents of the rest of my teammates. I saw Sonny's father, Mr. Lancaster, still dressed up in a suit but with sunglasses on. Patty's white mother, holding her little sister, Maddie, up on her shoulders. Lou's mom was there holding pom-poms, of course, and next to her was a man who looked just like Goose, the flashy dope man who hangs out at the basketball court. But it wasn't. At least I don't think it was. It couldn't have been. When Sonny and I got to where the rest of the team was, everybody was sitting down with their legs out in front of them, holding the tips of their feet and pulling. It hurts like crazy, but Coach said it was good for us. The team looked at me as I sat down. They all noticed the uniform and the silver bullets. I was dressed. I was a defender, and I was ready. Okay, Coach said, needing to speak much louder than usual so that we could hear him over the noise. I've got the lineup. Let's start with the distance race. Running the mile, we have Sunny for the guys, Lynn for the girls. For the 800, Mikey, you're taking Chris's place. Outlaw, your second heat. For the girls, Patty, you got this. Deja, your second heat. When Coach got to the 200 meter, he looked at me and Lou. Then he looked down at his clipboard and then back at us. Lou, you're going to take the 200, Coach said, and the 100. Lou held back a smile and nodded. Coach got me. I thought he was going to let me run, but I guess this was the real last part of my punishment. I tried not to act disappointed. I looked over at my family, King and Aunt Sophie holding the sign, waiting to lift it in the air and scream like maniacs, and Ma standing there so proud of me. And Ghost, Coach said, glancing over at Coach Witt and then back at me. I snapped out of my trance. You think you can handle doing the 100 too? I grinned, and I couldn't get yes out of my mouth, such a short and easy word, but I couldn't spit it out, so I just nodded and swallowed the yes, hoping it might go down my throat, through my stomach guts, and down my legs. We're not going to run any relays or hurdles yet, Coach said. This is the first meeting. We've got some work to do, but I'm watching every one of you, so let's get out there and burn. So we all went to the side of the track and waited for our races. Everyone was so hyped, jumping around, trying to stay loose. Lou's mother came over and gave us a container full of orange slices, which I thought was super nice, but I didn't want any oranges. And I met Coach's wife, Mrs. Margot, and his baby son, Tyrone. The crazy thing was, even though Coach was an Otis and a chip-toothed turtle face, Mrs. Margot was pretty and so nice. She passed out Gatorades to everybody, but when she got to me, she thanked me for cleaning out Coach's cab. That made me feel real special. But I didn't want no oranges or no Gatorade. I had my power pills, my sunflower seeds. I ran over to my mother, who had them tucked in her purse. She handed me the bag, then grabbed me and hugged me again. I'm so proud of you, she said. Then she caught me slipping and added, Ghost. She must have heard Sonny say it or something. But now she knew my nickname, the name I gave myself. And judging from her bright smile, I think she liked it. I had no idea that being on a team could make her so lovey-dovey, but it was cool. It reminded me of how it used to be back when we slept in our rooms and there were family pictures on the wall. Back with the rest of the defenders, I ate the sunflower seeds one by one, waiting for my race, and I got the chance. The first race was a relay, the boys 4x800. I got to just sit and watch how the races really went down, since we weren't running relays. Runners from 8 different teams all lined up on the lines, staggering at different starting points. The Bruisers, the Wings, and a bunch of other silly names that were nowhere near as dope as the name Defenders. Everyone put one foot forward, barely touching the line. They leaned in, some wiggling their fingers, and then, this caught me totally off guard, there's a gunshot, which is something that tells you to go. I'll tell you one thing, it made me feel a little weird, but whoever invented track got the whole gun means go thing right. And we're going to pause there.